You like, subscribe, follow, download, giddy up.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome in, everybody. Monday morning quarterback. Get ready to talk some bullshit regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. Is that one way to bring it in? I mean,
Good morning.
That's really what it is. We're talking bullshit with the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom Arno and Ryan Brodo. This is Monday morning quarterback. We are brought to you by the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. Many of us and our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. We are happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need help, please call 856-651-8117. We'll talk the latest Simmons and Embiid news. Doc saying that he expects them to be ready to play Thursday, so hopefully they don't miss any time. That's my issue on it, so we'll talk about that later on in the show. We'll give a little bit of Sixers second half expectations, 36 games left, so dive into a little bit. Obviously, I think they go – did they play 7 games in 10 days? At some point, I believe they're like 7 games in 10 days. That's like almost like a hockey schedule or like a baseball schedule. Like it's aggressive. So we'll dissect a little bit of the second half. Zach Ertz, Brandon Brooks rumors. Now everybody's telling me how great his offensive line is going to be this year, and they're probably their best offensive lineman when he's healthy, if not arguably their first or second, however you want to put him, when he's healthy, is now being dangled around and another carried out there. Now, guy's never healthy, so I love Brooks. I love him. But, to me, everybody's crowning his offensive line. Let's calm down because talking about getting older and a lot of guys who've missed a lot of games outside of Kelsey. So, I mean, at this point, I thought we were in tank mode. I thought we were in freaking tank mode. All right, we'll talk about building around Jalen Hurts because I thought we were in freaking tank mode, and everything ties into our poll question, which is brought to you by bodycheckwellness.com. You can use promo code A2D. Get yourself 20% off at checkout. That's bodycheckwellness.com. Promo code A2D, 20% off at checkout. And there are a lot of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. Help is what the Eagles need. Hemp is what you get with Body Check Wellness. All right, extracts, blends, gummies, topicals. Go check them out. Bodycheckwellness.com. Promo code A2D, 20% off. Our poll, it's unrealistic to expect the Philadelphia Eagles to be a playoff team next season. Agree or disagree? I mean, agree's an understatement. You know what I mean? Agree is a big-time understatement. I mean, we just won 4 games. This roster is shit. Some of the things that are good, they're talking about maybe dealing, and we expect there to be some moves made. Yes, they restructured deals. Yes, right? It looks like you're halfway in, halfway out. Like you don't know which direction you want to go as an organization right now, right? But then you're so financially strapped this year, just this year specifically, you're financially strapped that you have to put a roster together. And with all that being said, and I don't know if their exact cap room right this minute, like I got to see how the restructures go and that information to come out. But right this second, right this minute, this team stinks. And I'm a glass half full, run the Broad Street as many times as I can freaking run the Broad Street. But anybody out there that thinks this team's a playoff team, this team's a lightning in the bottle, grow up right now. Grow up. We're in March. And the fact of the matter is there is way too many Eagles fans talking about expectations for next season in March. It's one thing if you got them being a playoff team, right? And you felt good about the direction of your football team. Then, by all means, all right, talk playoffs. Talk as much as you want. Season just got done a few months ago. Our roster's gotten worse since the season's gotten done, essentially. Okay? Essentially. Like, there's so many holes. There's so many unknowns. And you got free agency starting at the week. Assume we can't even be a player in this year. And a draft that we don't know what that's going to come out to be. And then you got people talking playoff teams. Like saying, oh, well, Jamar Chase is a playoff team. Yeah, this person's a playoff team. What, dude? What? There's no linebackers. Okay? Then you have one cornerback right now. And they're going to move Avonte Max to this slot. Whoop-de freaking do. Stop with the playoff team. This team needs to prove to you that they are a playoff team before you start crowning playoff teams. It's such a homer-based comment for anybody out there that, like, legitimately straight face is going to come on these airways and try to tell me that this is a playoff team next year in fucking March when you just lost 4 games. Your roster stinks, okay? You have a second-year quarterback who has a sample size of 4 freaking games and you don't have a direction right now, right, inside in terms of your roster and how you want to build a football team now. You have a first-year head coach, and you got people out there that even want to bring up that conversation? You have an owner that talked about 2 to 5 years of a rebuild. Where are we then? Then where are we? Because anybody out there is just it's pure biased. It's biased to believe like, yeah, well, you know what? Like this could go well, this could go well, this could go. Sure. Okay. All right. I would make a comment right there, but I can't because it's 2021. All right. If my aunt would be my uncle, if you know what I mean? Like I would make that comment there with the ifs. It's this way, this way, this way. Okay, stop it. When you start having to list 25 fucking things that gotta go well for you to even be in a conversation in a bad division to win it, to be a playoff team, shut up. Okay, shut up. And everyone wants to tell me, Tom, the division stinks. Good, we stink. So I don't care what the division is. The division's going to continue to get better right now. We gotta get through a first-year head coach, see what he is, right? Forget we even get there. We got to get through free agency, seeing who's going to be on this roster, seeing what we do in the draft, seeing if players from last year's draft are even capable of being NFL players, if not Pro Bowl caliber players that you use in the first, second round, and Rager and Hurts. Okay, we got so many unknowns. Does Davion Taylor step on the field? Then what are you doing in this year's draft? What's your direction? How are you building your football team out? This is a build your football team out situation. You don't go bring in a first-year head coach that has no track record of being a head coach and then try to talk to me about winning right this minute. You want to talk to me about winning in 2022, be my goddamn guest, okay? Be my guest. If you really want to talk about there being a contender, a playoff contender, or just getting in the playoffs, period, in 2021, check your pulse. Check your pulse, because I believe most of you are just dead on the spot. I believe you're dead on the spot. And if you are, hit that like, hit that subscribe, give us a follow wherever you're listening to at, give us a share. Whatever you got to do on your platform, give it to us right now. And if you're buying in the words that are coming out of my goddamn mouth, because if you are, then you're going to give a like. Or if not, you're going to be, oh my God, he's such a hater. No, I'm a guy that always thinks they're going to win 12 games. Always wants them to win 12 games. So for me to sit here and tell you how the facts of the matter, right, should tell you a lot about the direction of this football team. So you tell me how the hell they get over 7 wins next year right this second. I'm going to tell you they look like they're a 2-win team. So let's let the chips fall where they will, and they may. And let's talk to me. Talk to me in June if you want to start giving me your expectations. Talk to me in August when you want to be all a giddy freaking schoolgirl and go over the schedule and blah, 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 blah. Right, that's coming out soon, the schedule, the exact dates. Oh, that's going to be cute. Now we're going to do wins and losses in fucking April. This is how delusional and ridiculous we are. I'm going to tell y'all, find another sport too. Like, Jesus, God, maybe I don't need to do this constantly because I love other sports too. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't have to have this blind loyalty and hope that this team's going to be a playoff team, right? When there's other stuff going on, when the Phillies are playing, right, and hopefully playing well, right, when the Sixers are playing, this is what this is a conversation fine today, obviously, because everybody's talking about it, which makes it funny. But like to have the conversation, like to call your buddy up and be like, yo, what do you think? What do you think? We a playoff team next year? I think we're a playoff team. Yo, Bill, let me tell you, Jalen Hurts, he's gonna throw for 5,000 yards, Bill. All right. I mean, they all want to talk about his accuracy. He's gonna be phenomenal, Billy. All right. And think about all the things. He's gonna rush for 20 freaking touchdowns. Miles Sanders is gonna be the MVP. I mean, that's the kind of conversation you're having if you're calling your goddamn buddy trying to tell me and sell me on this football team next year. Talk to me in 2022 when you actually have an opportunity cap-wise to go out and make splashes and compete. And do not tell me about this division. If I hear about this division one more goddamn time, I will personally boycott Eagles for an entire season. Now that's horseshit. But the fact that that's how strong I feel about it. All right, I'm tired of hearing about this division. The Cowboys are already better than us if Dak Prescott's there. Okay? Stop. I don't care if sadly can win it. That's not a realistic conversation. All right? That's not realistic. It's not. All right? Not realistic. Cowboys are better than us. Washington's better than us, even without a quarterback. Okay? And I'll just say the Giants are better than us just because I want to say the Giants are better than us right now. Because I don't want to win right now. I don't want to win next year. Okay? I want another top freaking 5 pick and be able to build a football team the right goddamn way. I'm tired of lighting the bottle 2017 and I can't sniff it again. No, I'm trying to go there consistently. And the only way I can go there consistently is start getting some stars in the house. So outside of the aging veterans, we're the fucking stars. You want to tell me about playoff team next year? Offensive line hasn't been right since the cover of Sports Illustrated. They haven't been all healthy together, I feel like. You'll bet me $500 we make the playoffs? All right. Done. We're done. I'll bet you $500 on that right now. Right now. And if they do, good. I'll be glad to pay it out. I'll be happy to because I'm an Eagles fan. I'll be happy to pay that $500. Slide it right across the table to you. Okay? I don't want to be taking that money, but I will. Because Lamont, come on, Lamont. Come on. You think where is this team a playoff team at? They just won 4 games.
What are we hanging our hat on? In March. Like we talked about before, Tom, you hit it on the head perfectly. If you want to come to me in June, after free agency starts, after the new league year starts, we're not even there yet. After the draft is here and gone. After all these trades, these magic trades that are apparently going to come out of nowhere like freaking daisies, like when all that's done and we actually know who we took in the draft, who's actually on this roster. If you want to come to me in June and say, hey, I don't believe that the sky is falling and I believe we can return back to relevancy sooner than expected. Okay, cool, great, grand. That's great. I dealt with one process with the basketball team. I really don't want to have to do it again with the football team. But, like Tom said, like Wilson said yesterday, like Sweeps, like Greg, they all talked about yesterday, I'm going to continue to say, we are in March. In March. We don't even know who the quarterback is. And everyone's like, oh, well, I laugh at this time. Like the last 24 hours when all these reports came out, oh, Jeffrey Lurie, he's committing to Jalen Hurts. And there's like a freaking parade going around on Twitter praising Howie and Jeffrey because of that. Like he discovered freaking fire. It's like, oh, okay. So you mean to tell me that the owner is actually going to commit to the guy that he took in the second round and replace the guy who they paid $128 million? Oh, okay. So he has somewhat of a pulse. Okay. Like, no duh, of course. But again, I'm not going to even 100% buy into that because what have we learned the last 3 years about this organization, Tom?
They lie.
Like, would you be shocked? Like, this is a good sign. This is exactly what we wanted. Hearing, hey, they're going to commit to the guy who should, at least in their opinion, be their franchise quarterback. But would you be shocked if reports come out or if on draft night or you hear something crazy like, oh, they draft another quarterback or they sign a guy? You know why? Because they don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what.
They just told everybody a month ago. Oh, bringing in competition. The Eagles looking to maybe take somebody at 6, right? They've been playing these games for the last X amount of months with dangling the carrot in front of everything, right? Because that's the position they're in. For whatever reason, they're burning it all down. So everything's dangled in front of people. It's a freaking joke. So to believe anything that comes out of any of their mouths at this point, I find to be bullshit. And Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman need to prove they're competent before we even talk about playoffs or building a roster out the right way. There's too much that's wrong to start thinking that because you're not a fan if you don't want them to win. Well, I never said I don't want them to win.
No, nobody said that we're rooting against them. Nobody's ever said that.
There's a different story. There's a different story of waking up and hoping they win game one and hoping they go on a tear next year. Sure, I absolutely want that. But realistically, that's not realistic. That's false expectation. That's false hope. So to tell me, oh, you're not an Eagles fan if you don't want them to win. No, I'm telling you they're not going to win. There's a different story. There's a different story of me saying, hey, I don't want them to win because I think they stink, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm telling you they're not going to win.
And here's the other thing, Tom, when you talk about, people in March, once again, in March, trying to say, hey, we have X amount of reasons why we can say that they could be a playoff team next year. I understand. We've talked about it before. I understand how you can argue that we're going to be better than maybe the worst team in the league or better than, okay, we're going to be in tank mode for the next 5 years. I get it. But let's just talk about this offensive line, right? That's like the new thing that everyone's hanging their hat on. Oh, well, if the offensive line comes back, we're going to be 5 wins better. First off, that's a reach. Second of all, even if they come back, they meaning Dillard, Lane, Kelsey, Brooks, say they're all playing for 16 games and they're the best offensive line in football. Say that we're buying into that. Well, we really shouldn't be buying into that because track record, history says that even in the ideal years, can we depend on Lane Johnson to play a full 16? No. Can we depend on Brandon Brooks to come back and play a full 12? We don't even know who Andre Dillard is yet. We have no idea. We know him as the guy who was a first-round pick and that was then crying in the locker room.
Brandon Brooks looks great in IG photos, so that's what people want to run to, and I love Brandon Brooks. But there's so many unknowns. Yeah, I said I don't want him to win because I want him to get a better pick the following year because I want stars. Right, does that make sense? Because that's being an Eagles fan. It's being common sense. So you all can back yourself into a playoff berth and fucking 7 wins, and everybody can run around the city like we're something special when we know we're not. Okay, and then have like a 20 fucking second pick in the draft and miss on that. Right? No, this guy can't hit on anything. I need him as high up as possible this year and next year, knowing that we have a ton of money opened up after that to go this year, next year. You gotta go home run hitters. You gotta go get some stars. And until that happens, right, everything's unrealistic.
Mm-hmm. And also, as much as we talk about, hey, the offense. For people to say, oh, my God, we can expect them to be a playoff team next year, do we know what this defense is? Because I don't. Because when you look up and down the roster, you see a lot of question marks as in vacant. Like there's nobody on the roster that is going to play those positions. So as much as we want to say, oh, well, the offensive line is going to be great. The quarterback's going to be great. Miles Sanders, oh, you could never trade him for DeAndre Hopkins, God forbid. Oh, they're going to trade up and they're going to get Kyle Pitts, or they're going to keep Zach Ertz and a wide receiver, and Jalen Reagor is going to be Tyreek Hill 2.0. Say all that actually happened, right? Your defense, as currently constructed, is giving up about 50 points a game. Okay? And even after the draft, even if we hit on a handful of picks, this defense has so many question marks, so many holes when you talk about the depth of the actual line, the linebackers. I don't know who the hell's playing safety at the beginning of the season. No idea. The only surefire thing is Rodney McLeod, but he's not going to be back until freaking October at the earliest. And who's playing the second cornerback position? Listen, man, I understand and I completely respect people not waking up in the morning and saying, oh, well, there's no reason to even caring about this Eagles team. I get the positivity. I respect it. I wish I could be part of that. And a lot of times we are. We do believe, hey, if you can go on a run, things could happen, next man up, all that stuff that they preach for us for years. But in this situation, with what has happened this season, so far this offseason, and what this ownership group has talked about, a 2 to 5 year plan, and looking up and down the roster and saying, we don't have the money to rebuild and retool elements of this roster, and we don't have a track record in the draft saying, hey, we can hit on the picks that we need to, or just the picks in general that we have. This organization, in order to make the playoffs next year or even be in the conversation, will have to do something they have not done in years. Hit in the draft, be smart with money, and find hidden gems when you're not really supposed to.
What?
History tells me they can't do that.
What? They get into the playoffs this year?
This coming year, yes.
Yeah, you got to come out with 3 legitimate starters out of this draft, and then you got to you got to pick up every rock and look underneath of it. I mean, good luck with that. Good luck with that. And if people think that Band-Aids get you into the dance, so be it. I'm not trying to be a Band-Aid team. I'm trying to figure out how I can be a team that's a juggernaut, right? That how can I be in the conversation for 5 to 8 years, right? How can I get in that conversation? That's what I'm trying to go to. I mean, I was the one yelling I wanted Jalen Hurts to play all 16 games this year because I want to see what I have. And if we lose, it doesn't mean he can't play. You know what I mean? That's not necessarily the case because his roster isn't going to be good. At least right now, it doesn't look to be good. It could be better, right? It could be. We'll see where it shapes out. But still, I want to see him play. And if they lose, they lose, right? And if he plays well, so be it. Then I can go address another position early in the first round next year, right? You know what I'm saying? The following year. So either way, it's a win-win to try to get deeper. You're just trying to get deeper and have some stars around. Like, not every player has to be a star, but my goodness gracious, can you give me 5 guys that are like that are under the age of 28 that are star capable right now? There isn't. So I'm going to save everybody the time.
You know what I'm asking from this Eagles team in the next 12 months, Tom? That's not playoffs. Identity. I would like to come out of this season with identity. To your point, knowing who the core is, knowing who this quarterback is. That, in my opinion, I don't want to say just having identity would be a success because I feel like we're putting a very low ceiling on it. But in a way, you kind of have to, given all the things wrong with this organization. If you come out saying, hey, here's 5 guys that without a shadow of a doubt, you can't argue, these are the building blocks for the next wave of this organization. Well, we're in a way better situation than we are right now.
And remember, first-year head coach.
Yes.
He has to put his handprints on stuff.
I have no idea who that is. We have no idea who that is.
Yeah, and let's say he's the greatest coach ever assembled, right? Great. Okay. He still has to put his fingerprints on stuff. You know, it's unrealistic expectations to even talk about playoffs for him this year is unfair. Yeah, prove to us you're a loyal Eagles fan and hit that thumbs up button. Good one, Don. Good one. Hit that thumbs up button over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. There isn't a thumbs up button, but you can hit a like.
Yeah.
Listen, I just don't know. I don't know what else to tell people. Like, I want you to believe. I'm always the believer. So, like, I'm always the believer. But there comes to a point of time where if I came on here and I tried telling you guys and everybody out there and tried selling the case that go disagree to the poll, right? And tried to sell that's a disservice to everybody. That's the green Gatorade, green Kool-Aid, and that shit's spiked heavily. That's what that is.
Tom, especially because we're not even at the free agency yet, Tom. We don't even know. Like, again, if you want to make the argument that they can be a solid to playoff type of a team, at least wait until we know what the roster is.
Yeah, I ask you to wait till June, July, August to start telling me on where you think this team shapes up at. You know what I mean? You gotta let things play out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really do. I just think it's egregious to have the conversations because these young players want to run the social media and talk about how good their offense is going to be. Great. Whoop-de-doo. Prove it. There's so many prove-its from ownership, general manager, coaches, because we don't know them, and players that were drafted here. There's so much to figure out.
True.
Everybody's in a prove-it situation. All these people are in prove-its. Like, prove you're a good coach. Prove you're a good GM. Then again, prove you're a good owner. Prove you were worthy of that pick wherever you were selected at. Prove. That's a mantra of the 2021 Eagles is prove it. Then prove it. Everybody, hey, listen. I have no problem being wrong, but there's a lot of prove it. I mean, think about it. I just gave you how many prove-its, and that's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If Doug was back and you really loved Doug to death and you wanted to sell me on it, then it's a different conversation because at least you have a guy that's won you something before that you want to sell me lightning in a fucking bottle to. There's no resemblance of anything besides a few players from that 2017 season, guys. So everybody needs to move away from that immediately. Okay, and if you haven't, punch yourself square in the face and figure out how we can get back there again. Because if not, we are the definition of Dallas Cowboys. We would want to talk about how good we were at a different time. No, I want to be good again. So what does it take to be good again? And, now you're like, you still think you're going to be a playoff team at Brooks? We probably believe Ertz is gone, but Brooks is gone too. I mean, somebody else goes defensively. Then you really see all these people need to calm down because you don't know. Now, if they're all back and you believe there's going to be health and you believe this offensive line is going to be better because, like I said, they haven't been better since the naked cover. All right. So if you believe they're going to get better, then so be it. Then so be it. If you believe they're going to all be healthy and block the sun out, then be my guest. I just can't. I can't do this right now with everybody.
You don't get older and get healthier. You know what I'm saying? You don't get healthier as you get older. You know what I'm saying? Once you get banged up a handful of times, that sticks with you. It sticks with you. And like to Ethan's point, like that's what people have to remember. Like we are the same people, the same franchise that recognized a handful of weeks ago. Like he says, if Howie Roseman screws up in this draft and free agency again, he should be fired the following season. And we all agree with that. Whether that happens or not, that's beside the point. But it's that we need to hit in this draft just to stay afloat as an organization. Forget about trying to compete this next year. Forget about that. That's less than icing on the cake. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that, that's like the icing on top of the icing. Like it's just trying to stay afloat for the following year. You're trying to hit on this draft that way you can go into next offseason, 12 months from now, saying, oh, okay, we have 44 additional, $44 million additional money, in our repertoire as far as saving money from Carson, and we have an extra handful of picks. You're trying to hit this year to set up next year, not this year. You're trying to make your life easier in 12 months, not in September. In September. And I hear it like, listen.
Golf shot, right? You know that.
Yeah, it's a layup. This season's a layup.
Setting up your next shot. 70 people watching on YouTube, 38 likes. Let's pound that like over there. Pete Evans saying the same thing. Thanks for the super chat, Pete.
Thanks, Pete. No, you're right, Tom. The golf analogy, I love it. Because right now we're in the trees. You know what I'm saying? We're deep in the trees and we're just trying to punch out. We're trying to get back on the course.
That's it. I'm not saying that this, listen, I'm really anti Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman right now. Okay? But
justifiably so.
Doesn't mean they can't change over. Doesn't mean they can't start getting things right. I don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and say that they never can get out of this or they can't rebuild. That's unfair to say. But the time's now. Like now I need to start seeing it or you got to go. I mean, I would have been fine with you going already. But the fact that you're still here, then really I'm putting you over the coals now, and I really need to see you. See, you got to be able to walk across it and get out. And get out. If you might be bleeding, that's fine. But you got to get out and get yourself in a position and start drafting better and do the little things better of putting a better football team together and not get so caught up into, obviously this, with Carson, he proved he'll take the money hit, but, not pay guys out of loyalty.
And fam, I want you to do this for us because, we obviously read your comments and we're going to continue to do it, but not only for the people who we've seen them, there's a handful of people that do believe that playoffs are realistic next year, which again, God bless you. I mean, that's great. We love it. Not realistic at all, but again, we love it. But even for the people who don't believe it's realistic, like Tom and I and the fam at home, go in the chat and give us your plan or your formula that you would say, okay, this is the avenue to where we can be back to relevancy the fastest. Okay, for the fam at home who truly believes, hey, they could be a playoff team next year, give us your plan then on what you believe is a realistic plan that they should follow to get us back to that point. And for the fam at home, give us the same thing, but a formula and a plan to get us back to relevancy the fastest. Because I just want to see because again, we can throw out there, right, Tom, the headlines, we always talk about, the misleading headlines and all that. We can put out there, the Eagles can be a playoff team in 2021. I can say that, but I would like to hear from the people who actually believe that. What are the reasons why? That's my biggest thing.
Yeah. I would love to hear how next year. I gave people a plan on how to get there in 2022. I mean, it's not groundbreaking plan here, right? It's just, hey, you're gonna have two straight years of high picks, right? And you could have next year with 2 first rounders. Okay, I mean that's your way out, and your other way out is all the money you open up in 2022. So I mean there's light at the end of the tunnel, but you got to start digging right now to find the light. You got to dig and hit right now on these picks. So I mean that's what it comes down to. I mean you guys can't just say one player in the draft makes us a playoff team. Like I hard disagree with that too. Like one player in the draft does not make this team a legit playoff team. Like I'm saying legit. Y'all can talk about this fucking shit division. I'm talking to you legit. Not one and done, legit playoff team. And even if you want to count in that it's a bad division, one player with the 6th pick isn't going to change your franchise that quickly, especially in year 1. And people are saying form in the draft, Chase or Pitts and the rest defense. Yeah, that's fine, but that's also that's just not going to put you in the playoffs, though.
No,
like to me, that's not gonna stamp you in the playoffs. Like that's fine, Mark. You know what I mean? Like I understand your formula and I agree with you, but you're not the one making the picks. That's the problem. So then you got to hope that the guy who's making the picks. That's what I'm trying to say to everybody. Everybody that's going to talk about drafting to me, and that's your way in next year. That's where everybody needs to take a step back. Immediately. Not because it's your guys' fault. It's because of the guy who's been making the picks the last 3 years has flat out fucking struggled. So everybody needs to say, hold on. How am I going to rally around him hitting? Forget you just saying Chase or Pitts, right, Marky Mark? But the fact that you said the rest defense, right? Not that I'm sure you have names, but now he's got to hit the rest of them.
Marky Mark, you're spot on as far as your plan, because that's the plan I would have if I was Howie. You draft Pitts with your first pick. That's your big time offensive difference maker. Then you focus on defense for the rest of it. But even I know that doesn't make us a playoff team next year. It gets us a lot closer.
Right. Sorry. Yeah, Goldie's got a good one too. Just to go right into that. Like this one doesn't make us one either. It's a really good draft, Goldie. It's a lot of names I like, but it doesn't make a playoff team in my eyes next year.
No, it gives, you know what it does? It rebuilds that core. It gives us that identity that we've been, needing for so many years, especially young core. But that doesn't make me think, oh my God, we add Kyle Pitts and Jabril Cox and Asante Samuel Jr. That doesn't make me think, oh my God, we're instantly better than Dallas. Because I don't know. There's too many question marks. Yeah. I don't know. Again, the biggest thing that does, it rebuilds the core. It gives us identity on both the defense and offensive side of the ball. And it says, okay, well, that's a big stepping point to rebuilding this organization. Then it sets up for next year where we have a handful more extra picks and a ton of money. So we could say, okay, in 2022, if you pair along the young core of Jabril Cox, Asante Samuel, Kyle Pitts, and then you go into next offseason, then you address, okay, maybe another offensive lineman, a running back, and then you go free agency and you draft, let's say DJ Chark, because I know he's going to be available. You know what I'm saying? Then you have identity and say, okay, well, you're pairing the good stars, the good young stars you got in the draft in 2021, along with spending some money in 2022. And then imagine, okay, well, this coach can actually coach and this quarterback can actually play quarterback.
Well, yeah, you need all that. You need all 2020 to go right for you, too. I mean, Rager and Hurts got to be able to play. And then this year's draft class got to be able to play. And the following year's draft class got to be able to play. Like, that's what it comes down to. At some point, you have to start hitting, or you're just going to keep winning two games.
Yeah.
And you're just going to get yourself into that situation. Lamont, there's so many holes. I don't know what direction they're going to go. Who would I draft? I would draft 13. That's been my number one guy. I'm not against other guys at that slot, but that's a guy that's worthy of that pick, and I would love. But I'm not even talking about it anymore because I feel like I've talked about who they're going to take there a million times. I'll wait till it gets closer. They keep going on who they're going to take and drive myself crazy with it because at this point, it totally is like until that name's mentioned, I have no fucking clue where they're going to go. All right. They already went 2 spots last year. I had no idea they were going there. Not at the wide receiver position, but the fact that of the name and then to go QB in the second round. So
Well, Tom, to your point, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier before the show, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, like we've been saying, like our fear pick, like we always have, like, okay, the picks that it's almost like we think now as Eagles fans, because of how many times we missed on the picks, we almost think about the picks we don't want them to make instead of the picks we do want them to make. And the last handful of weeks, and I'm sure it'll continue, but I guess it's been, dulled down a little bit with the Jeffrey Lurie report. It's that, okay, we are very concerned about them taking a quarterback, whoever that is, Fields, Wilson, Lance, Mac Jones, Mond. I have the new name is Mond. So if you take that out of the equation and you say, okay, well, now they're not going to take any quarterback, to your point, Tom, I have no idea what the hell they're thinking, because I don't see them doing receiver. They never value linebackers. So it's a freaking crapshoot, to be honest. It really is. No. And like somebody was asking earlier, like, oh, who, if we were Howie Roseman, would we rather have Devontae Smith or Pitts? And I know people are going to be upset with this, but I don't really care. To me, it's Kyle Pitts. Just because I feel, not that Devontae Smith isn't any good. And if we got him on draft night, I'm happy. I'm very happy. And this is also, I don't think he's even going to get to us, to be honest, but Kyle Pitts does so many things great for us, that I'd be confident and comfortable saying, okay, there's all offensive difference maker. Now let's go, hit on some defensive guys. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. Or you go defense first, or they're going to trade Brooks and they draft Sewell. I mean, there's a million directions they can go here. There's a million directions they can go, and honestly, I don't care which way it is. Just go nail the damn pick. I don't care who it is, as long as it's not a quarterback. I really don't care at this point anymore. You know what I mean? Like, just go hit it. It's time. It's time. Whoever that is, if that's a fucking guard, I don't care. Then let him be a fucking 12-time All-Pro. All right. I mean, I don't care. Don't care. If it's Surtain, then let him be, a 10-time All-Pro. If it's Pitts, great. If it's Chase or Smith, fine. If it's Parsons, which it won't be, fine. Like, whoever it is, whatever. I mean, go hit it. To me, like, to say names anymore is irrelevant, because I thought I could talk it into existence, but I don't trust this organization, and I don't and they got to prove that I can trust them. And even when they say the pick that I might want, I'm going to question my thought process. Yeah, so true. Any way you slice it, it's a wait and see thing. Like, I'm not going to be excited, and running around after draft night, no matter who we get, because of our track record. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be like a prove it, like we talked about earlier on. It's got to be a prove it. Yeah, people are going to go crown this team real quick, and hey, maybe rightfully so, crown the offense. Okay, but and I know I like Pitts and I like Chase and I like Smith, but neither three of them are coming in, and we have this whole sudden this high-powered offense year one of it.
They're not franchise changers. At least year one, they could eventually be, sure. And like Goldie, all signs point that way. I don't believe so, because you have so many guys that the GM has said they need to figure out who they are. You already have 5-6 guys on the roster wide receiver wise. So I don't know, man. And everyone's saying, oh, okay, they're not going to take a tight end at 6. Like Tom said, I don't know who they're taking. Nobody does. I don't even think they know who they're taking. But I think it's unfair to just call Pitts a tight end. He's a weapon.
I don't think they would value him at 6 that early. Because I don't think they would value the linebacker at 6 that early. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean they wouldn't take either one in the first round. Now, though, I think I know Pitts is flying up boards, but even to me, I don't know if he's 6 worthy. I've been saying that. I don't know if he's 6 worthy. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it long enough, right? 6 is man. You're almost reaching a little bit at 6. To be honest,
he's been banged up too.
Yeah, and I love his upside, but you're reaching a little bit at 6.
Yep. Trade back to 9, get an additional pick. I can live with that. Same thing with the linebacker.
Top 10. I would say more out of the top 10.
Okay, listen. If I could trade out of the top 10 and get one of our guys that we're talking about, the Surtains, the Pitts, I'm doing that in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would. Now, would I be okay? Like I said, I've been frustrated before, but I mean, if they went Chase at that pick at 6, then so be it, right? Yeah. If they went Smith, I just can circle that wagon a million times and just say, okay, wherever they go, like Dustin said, we just need a playmaker. And we appreciate the comment, Dustin. And
I do want to. What is this? I look forward to this Eagles season. However, I'm not excited or anticipating it. No, that's true. I want to say I'm intrigued because, well, starting with this quarterback, I'm intrigued to find out. Okay, who the hell did they replace Carson Wentz with? You know what I mean? Like I have my limitations, especially for expectations, but I'm intrigued.
I'm hoping to God, Rye, he can play great. I'm hoping to God he's a pimp. I swear on this. I swear on this. Guys, like, I'm hoping to God he's a pimp. And I got to come on here, and we all got to come on here and tell you we were wrong. Fine. I don't care. I want him to be. So to that point, Tyreek, I'm intrigued. Like same thing Ryan said. I'm not excited. I'm more intrigued because can Jalen Reagor play? Can some of them other young wide receivers play? Right? Can Kevon Wallace play? Can Davion Taylor play? You guys know where I'm going with this? Can some of these younger guys? Can Miles Sanders put a full season together? Can Dallas Goedert be worthy of being a number one tight end? Right? So like I have questions, like you, like Ryan has questions, like you guys have questions, and that's what I'm anticipating and I'm intrigued to see, so that I can actually have a basis to say in 2022 I can come on here in March with a straight face and sort of tell you one way or the other. I can tell you, listen, doom and gloom for the next fucking 20 people, or I can tell you in 2022, guess where we're going, right? So I mean, oh my God, yeah. And Ryan's point earlier, I don't know how, outside of our front, like what's on paper. And you expect, okay, I'll get after the quarterback. Like what's on paper in March, okay? Outside of that, I don't know how we stop anybody in the secondary. So
50.
And they're going to run the ball down our throat because we have no linebackers. And don't tell me don't tell me the freaking Canadian football star, please.
Singleton?
Yeah, like no.
He's an NFL football player, but he's not a superstar. He's not a star. He's a good player to have on your roster if he's a borderline starter. That's it, though. But nobody should be hanging their hat on friggin' Singleton.
No, and we got guarantees by Dinar. I guarantee Wallace, Reagor, and Hurts can play. I hope you're right. I mean, I wouldn't go. Wow. I mean, listen, if you want to come on and tell me y'all can guarantee Hurts can play, I'll say okay, cool, right, fine. You straight face, Dinar, you're guaranteed. I like Kevon Wallace. All right, I think getting him in the fourth was actually a benefit to you, but the guarantee he can play, I find to be a little bit of a reach right now.
Yes,
but the guarantee me Reagor can play is another reach. So I mean, I love the optimism. I don't want to take this away from people. I love your optimism. I don't want to be known as anti-optimism because I love being positive. But be positive and trying to figure out how to rebuild it. And you can't guarantee these guys can play until you can do whatever you want, but. They all were on the football field last year, and they all struggled, right? They all struggled at times. So to guarantee they can play, to me, is like, okay. I mean, I would be more in I hope they can play than I guarantee they can play.
Yeah, and like we talked about, you guys can think and hope and pray for whatever the hell you want. But like Tom and I's point is, the reason why we're so adamant about this, forget about being fair to this team. Be fair to yourself. Like if you're going into every season without any context and expecting this team to be bona fide Super Bowl or playoff contenders, especially realizing what this conversation is as far as this organization, you're setting yourself up for failure as a fan because you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be happy. And again,
you're thinking it's 2017. You're thinking you can just catch lightning in a bottle or our division's so bad, so we have a chance. Like, it's fine. Always believe you have a chance. When the season starts, we're all going to try to be optimistic and hope they can win games, right? We're not going to turn the TV on hoping they can lose. But when it goes bad, to your point, when it goes bad, don't start getting angry at the wrong people. Those are getting angry because there's people here who told you that this wasn't going to happen this year. You know what I mean? Red says, why would they come out and state they want to build around Jalen? Yeah, the timing's odd. It's all odd because they came out a month ago and said they were open to taking another quarterback and open for competition. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't believe anything until I see after draft night what this roster is and if there's a quarterback on the roster. I don't. This organization has done nothing but lie. The new norm of this organization since the Super Bowl has not been winning; it's been lies.
I like to go a step further and said it lies, leaks. And I don't even want to say lies because it might not be lies. They're just leaks. They're just leaked bullshit. So I don't even want to call them lies. It's a leak city. Yeah, we'll leak this. We'll leak this. We'll dangle this fucking carrot. We'll fucking and we think we're gonna come out on top of everything, right? You got bent over by the freak. I said it that first day. You got bent over by a Colt, okay? And now where are we going, Reggie says, and this wouldn't be bad. Like again, I don't love the wide receiver when you've gone there so many times, but listen, if Chase can be a star, I'm not passing up on stars. So if it comes to 6 and he's the best player, take him. He says, Reggie versus
Salas
says how he gets it right this year. Goes Chase round 1, and then the guard. What's that? Is Newsome a guard too? I feel like Newsome's a lineman.
Great.
Like
Let me see.
I'm a lineman.
I believe so.
It's either center.
Center.
Love that.
I know cornerback. Greg Newsome II, Northwestern.
Oh, Northwestern. Jesus. Okay. I mean, I feel like there'll be other corners. I feel like there'll be other corners there, maybe a little higher value than him. I would have to go watch. Reggie, I got to go watch him. I'll take your word for it that he can play. Because if you're taking him in a second, I'm sure you believe he can play. So I'll take your word for it. My bad. I feel like there's another Newsome in this draft. Maybe I'm just going crazy. I don't know. I forget. There's two. I know the tackle's name for Bama, but then there's their center. They got a bunch of guys coming out. Yeah, I think that a lot of people were saying Asante Samuel Jr., Mike in the second.
Oh, here, I'll pull it up. I've got the big board right in front of my face. I don't know why I didn't pull it up a second ago. My bad.
Yeah, I can't, John. I didn't want to laugh at cornerback Northwestern. You know what I mean? Like I'm not laughing because I assumed that Reggie did his work on him. You know what I mean? You know, I'm an SEC junkie. So, yeah, you gotta go down for these linemen because they're later round picks.
Newsome.
Barmar's early. Leatherhead.
Great
Leatherhead,
name.
Offensive.
Leatherwood.
Leatherwood. Sorry, Leatherhead's even better.
Leatherhead's even better of a name. I'll take him 6th.
Where's the other one? They got a center there somewhere. I mean, he's a little later. Dylan Moses, the guy.
Landon Dickerson.
A lot of people see us take him late, but you know, there's
Deontay Brown, interior O line.
I don't know what the center's name is. He might be listed as an interior offensive lineman, so it might have been one of them two guys. Carlos, what are your thoughts on trade talk about Brooks? I mean, this is what they're doing. They're seeing what they can get for everybody. Everybody's open. Oh, that's who it is. I think Bama got 2 centers coming out. Jesus, Dickerson and the guy that replaced him, I believe. That's awesome, though, George, right? Like, I mean, that's why I tell Howie, where are you going for your players? Like, can we just go dabble in the SEC just for a draft? Just for a draft? Can we dabble?
Just pretend. You can go right back to it the next year. Just give us 1 year, please, for God's sakes.
Oh, got over 100 people watching on YouTube. Pound that like, pound that subscribe. If you like what you're listening to, even if you don't, hit it anyway. If it's fly for you, pound that like.
I have 2 questions for you. One with the Brooks, but the other one real quick with Hurts. Going back, and fam, if you didn't already see it, or if you didn't catch the entire thing, I highly recommend it. Your interview with Joe Giglio last Tuesday, and I understand people will be like, "Oh, well, Joe, why'd you have some really good stuff in that show?" Trust me. But he gave a quarterback comparison for Jalen Hurts, and I want to ask the fam and you, Tom. If this ends up being his ceiling, or at least the immediate kind of product that he puts out for the next handful of years as a quarterback, I want to ask you guys if you're okay with that, and if you're cool with that. He compared him to Dak Prescott. He believes that he can eventually be a Dak Prescott type of a player. If he ends up being a Dak Prescott 2.0, are you cool with that? Are you willing to go forward as an organization with him as your franchise guy with that? Or are you saying, oh, well, Dak can't win in the playoffs, so if that's it, I'm trying to move on from him as soon as possible?
No, I mean, I hate the comparison, honestly. I love the interview with Joe. I hated that comparison. I mean, Dak's a big guy. It's just they're different. I mean, Dak's arm strength is better.
He's not a run-first guy. Jalen's a run-first guy.
He always threw the ball. Like, you know what I mean? He's a better pocket passer. But, I mean, if he was similar to that, then sure. I mean, sure.
And that's what I'm worried about, Don, because I think that is like a realistic floor for him, and that's Tyrod Taylor. and you're not winning with that.
Yeah, that right there, you're not winning anything with.
No. That's like a borderline NFL quarterback.
Yeah, like more. He's gotten better at it, but he's also, he has better arm strength than Hurts does. I know nobody wants to see that as much, but the arm strength it's not great. It's just not great.
Yes, Carlos, in 2 seconds. I would trade back in the first to get him.
Yeah, they won't do that.
Nope.
Goldie, if he is Dak 2.0, then you have to max out his contract to win.
Yeah.
The only thing they have in common. Yeah. Okay.
Jesus, Goldie.
Okay. I let that part out, Goldie. And Steven says no because we don't have Cooper, Gallup, Zeke, and CD Lamb.
And an all-pro offensive line for the first 2 years of Dak's career.
Yeah.
Also.
But yes, I mean, I would take that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, how about the kid just be as a winner like everybody says he is? How about just that? How about we just start with that? Because if everybody wants to play for him so bad, then maybe this team goes and wins some games next year.
Then you also have the report that came out late last week, Tom, that the ownership group believes that he has, quote, Patrick Mahomes level optics to him as a quarterback. I'm like, oh my God, you're just gonna friggin' draft Trey Lance at 6, but now you're saying you have Mahomes in the building.
Jesus God. Everybody wants to compare too, right? Like everybody has a comparison that this player is this player.
Yep.
No, I don't need you to be somebody else. I just need you to be good.
Yes, I need you to be a franchise quarterback, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, can you just be a good? Can you be a good quarterback? Because even if you're just a good quarterback, right? The money we're paying you can make you even better than being a good quarterback because we can put things around you. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes optics. I mean, you need to go get your optics checked. You want to talk about Mahomes optics? Fire everybody in the fucking building that even brought up that. What does that even mean? Like, talk about it. Oh my God, stop! He's Russell Wilson. He's Patrick Mahomes. He's fucking Lamar Jackson. He's Dak Prescott. My goodness gracious!
He's a smaller version of Cam Newton. Like,
we're gonna start saying he's Carson if he has a God forbid he doesn't tweet something out. He's gonna have Carson optics. Anthony Bosco, the center you're talking about is Creed Humphrey. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Just be McNabb. Just be Donovan. How about that? I'll take Don. I couldn't agree more. And, if you want to compare, and Donovan was like 6'2", so Donovan wasn't like tall, right?
I don't believe so. No.
Check Donovan's exact height. I feel like he's like 6'2", 6'3". I mean, Jalen's small though, guy. I mean, he's 6'1".
Yeah, I was just say 6'1".
I feel like I'm being generous saying he's 6'1".
And he's not like a stocky kid. He's not skinny. We're not saying he's like freaking Devontae Smith, but he's not this big bodied quarterback like Wentz was. Let's see. Donovan McNabb height.
Steven says Dak's a good quarterback, but we don't draft as good as the Cowboys, so we need a great quarterback.
6'2", Tom.
All right. So, I mean, they're right around height-wise. So, I mean, you can get better as a pocket passer. Donovan did. I mean, I know people are out there going to believe that, but Donovan got better as a pocket passer. Now, remember, Donovan was the second overall pick in the goddamn draft. Donovan was electric at Syracuse. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts hasn't been electric in college and hasn't made big plays. I'm not saying that. But Donovan also had a really strong goddamn arm.
If there was a kid that was going to improve, I believe it would be Jalen Hurts, just because I buy into the work ethic of the kid. Not that nobody does. A lot of us do. We've said that on draft night when we were bombarded, when we found out that, oh my God, we drafted a quarterback in the second pick in the second round. But I can't. We again, it's like it's prove it, Tom.
Yeah, I want him to play, right? But again, Goldie says the same thing I think. He doesn't have the arm strength of Donovan. And that's the key. There's a reason he was a second-round pick. Thought to be a third. So we got to hope as an organization we catch lightning in the bottle because that sets you up. That's the thing I did agree with Joe with, is it sets you up. And that's common sense. But you're not paying, you're paying a second-round pick for the next 4 years. You can win football games in 2022 because you're gonna have a lot of money, and you're not tying a lot of money to your quarterback position. So you can if he's just very good. If he's just very good, then yes, you can win games. Not next year. So everybody shut the fuck up. And you still might be able to steal some games next year, but you're not like a playoff caliber football team. But if you like actually want to like win games, if he's very good, he's very good. If he's very good, that'd be great. If he's just real good, okay, then you have a chance of winning 11, 12 games a year if you hit on these fucking picks.
If you have a good defense, if the coach can actually coach.
I mean, we're not even talking about all the rest. There's so many unknowns, and we're talking about playoffs. And
like if people want to say, hey, if we follow the same formula that Dallas had with Dak, to where he's a solid to very good quarterback that also has an elite running game, a good offensive line, a ton of effing weapons, and a couple years ago a good defense. Not anymore, but like if you want to follow that, cool. That's a way better situation than we're in currently.
Well, I stand firm on this too, right? The least of my concerns almost. One of the least of my concerns going in this year is Jalen Hurts.
Yes, because we can, if he sucks, then time to turn the page. Whatever. You're not devoting $128 million like you did with the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Like if he stinks, whatever. It's another second round pick that you missed on. Not great, not ideal, not happy about it, but whatever. It's going to be harder.
We're not shortchanging him and what he did in his college career. I'm not shortchanging Jalen Hurts at all. Like, I believe Jalen Hurts works his ass off. I believe Jalen Hurts, he can play at this level. I think Jalen Hurts is going to do everything. And one thing about Jalen Hurts is he always won games. So, can you win games at this level? Like I said, he's the least of my issues right now because I don't think this roster is good enough around him either. So, I think it's unfair to think he's going to have this monster year when he could, but then you look about a bad defense. We don't know about these skill position players. Like, there's so many unknowns that Jalen Hurts really isn't one of them to me right now, right? So think about that, what I just said right there. We have so many unknowns, and the quarterback position really isn't one of them, and he's unknown to the NFL. And to me, because he's a winner, and because I think he's competitive as shit, that I think he's gonna compete. Does it mean I think he's gonna be a great quarterback? I don't know, but I think he's gonna compete. I don't hate the kid. I mean, he's my guy now. I'm gonna rally around him. And everybody's saying like, once Carson was traded and Jalen Hurts became my guy, I stood on that hill and said he's better play 16 games because he's my quarterback right now. And I want to see him.
Jalen Hurts is one of the least bits of worries that I have. The only other thing I know is is the offensive line. Maybe.
I think he's going to play okay, right? That's why I say that because of the escapability, right, that he's going to make plays. I just want everybody to understand. Because he can escape pockets, that helps you in the NFL period at the quarterback position. Now, which can make him go from electric, essentially, to people's eyes, to being a quarterback, is can he get better in the pocket? That's going to show me week one. Week one is going to show me if the growth happened this offseason. Week one. So I'm praying, but he's the least of our problems. We have so many other things to worry about Eagles wise.
The other thing I'll ask you, Fam and Tom, give me the percentage chance you believe Brandon Brooks will be traded.
Percentage? Jeez, God. I hate to say 50-50 because that's just where everything is.
That was my answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's up in the air. I guess if it comes out, maybe there's some truth to it. I don't know. I believe all of these the other guys are moved when they're moved too. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they know what they're doing.
And the other question we were getting from the fam is, what, as a GM, what would you expect if you if you're trading them? What would you expect in return?
I don't know. For a guy who's been banged up,
so tough because he's never healthy, but when he's on the field, I mean, we had arguments back when Carson was still Carson that the best player on this football team wasn't even Carson; it was Brandon Brooks.
No, you're right. I love Brandon Brooks. I mean, the second he steps on, your offensive line's better, which can make this football team tougher for sure if he was actually healthy and played. 111 people over on YouTube right now. Let's go. And we got 60 likes. Pound that like, hit that subscribe button, family. Goldie, I think you're right around there. Maybe a fifth. Like you're not gonna. That's a problem. Like everybody's like, not you. Like everybody's like, oh, we got to trade Ertz and we're gonna trade this guy, this guy, this guy. But like all these guys that we're talking about dealing, we're lucky if we're getting a fifth back. If we're getting we'd be ecstatic if we're getting fourth back. Like it's just, okay. So Kuiper and McShay, take it for what it is. They both have their mock draft up.
Ooh, here we go.
And Kuiper has Eagles taking Jamar Chase, LSU. All right. And McShay has us taking Kyle Pitts, Florida. So either one in terms of skill position players, I'm totally good with.
I'm very happy with both of them.
Yeah, I can't be mad. Like I won't be mad. I just I'm gonna be like, oh shit, now you're here. So can you play? I don't know.
Yeah, again, it's like
Russ. Yes. He is the best guard in the league when he's healthy. Yes. But the thing is, again, when he's healthy. And this is a problem. Like when Lane Johnson is one of the best right tackles in football when he's healthy, right? So this is our issue. This is what I'm scared of, Russ. Like if you people that want to talk about, well, the offensive line's back, this could be a playoff team. Like, oh my God, they're always banged up. I love them both, but they're banged up all the time. Now, if both of them can stay healthy and Kelsey's healthy, can this team be competitive offensively? Sure. Sure. I mean, I'm not going to run from that. I mean, you're talking about a top five right tackle and a top 5 right guard. You're going to be better. Sure. If they both play, you're going to be better. Now, what is better is? I don't know. Can I see what the defense shakes out to be when the roster's completed? Not to you, Steve. Like, or whoever said it, to everybody else that was talking about playoffs, etc. I got to see. It's March. Christ, and everybody's telling me how Brooks was back this year, and then a freaking 4 days later, now he's being dangled out there.
Yep. And everyone, and to your point, Tom, with like he looks great on the Instagram, and everyone talks about, oh my God, he's the best player ever because of his Instagram, and that he's the fastest recovering athlete in Philly history. Well, fam, you realize you have to recover only if you get hurt a lot. He gets hurt a lot. So like somebody said, like 2 firsts for Brandon Brooks, like.
First.
Yeah, 2 firsts. He's still top 2. Like, we didn't even get a first for Carson, who is a quarterback. You know what I mean?
32 years old.
Yeah, like he's never, like we talk about Carson having injury issues. Brandon Brooks said, hold my friggin' beer. Like if we can get a 4th, I'm doing it in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm doing it because I'm going younger. I'm going to, Herbig, or is it Sewell, or what? I'm just throwing it out there.
Probably be Driscoll because I think he can play swing. I think would probably be. I think Herbig sucks, but either way, it doesn't.
Well, I think Driscoll's more of a tackle to me. I feel like he played better.
Yeah, his sole position is a tackle. He's a right tackle. He's Lane's replacement probably. I agree, Donnie. Look like honey buns.
Bro, he has 4 years left on his contract. 3rd pick, nothing lower. What, 3rd round pick, you're saying?
Yeah.
For who? Brooks?
It's just so tough. Like, I don't know what the answer is because it's the balancing act. It's about, is there a team out there that's going to not ignore the injuries, but they're going to look at him on the field like, oh my God, this is a transcendent offensive lineman if he's on the field. So somebody can be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to take the chance and we're going to do whatever it takes to get him. Or are they going to be kind of like on Tom and I's perspective where it's like, okay, well, he's great when he's there, but when is he there?
Yeah, and it goes for his running mate over on the right tackle side too.
Entire friggin' side.
I mean, I don't know how we just assume they're all going to be healthy. So, I mean, that's why I would look to move on from some of these guys and rebuild and start over. 116 people watching on YouTube, 70 likes. Come on, pound the like, hit the subscribe.
Come on, get it to 100. Get it to 100. Maybe Howie will actually hit on a pick if we get it to 100.
Get it to 100 right now. Get the subscribes. Get the subscribes to, we're at 464. Come on, get them to 465 right now. 465 right now. The people. Yes, Ralphie, a linebacker would be glorious, right? I do like, somebody earlier was like Riley. I like from LSU. I like Mosley. So I like guys that you can get 2nd, 3rd round that can come in and play for you. I mean, I do believe that. Mosley's got the knee issue, but I mean, fuck, who cares?
He'll fit in perfectly.
Who cares? At least he went to a big school. I'll run with that then.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the big board. You've got
We traded Brooks for a third rounder.
what was that?
We'd have 3 third-round picks if we traded Brooks for a third rounder. So nobody expect that for us to draft three of them this year. Well, I mean, maybe we would though. I mean, maybe we would because we need talent like now. You know what I mean? Not later, like right this second. Like we need talent.
Tom, what as far as the defense, what position do you think out of these 3? What do you think is more needed? Second cornerback position, linebacker, or safety? In that order, how would you rank it 1 through 3 as far as necessity?
Second corner, linebacker, safety. Probably the second corner.
I agree.
Well, you know who's on the roster for that.
Yep.
Linebacker, then safety. Because I can at least run like Kevon Wallace out there and fucking Joe Schmo for a year if I have to until Rodney's back.
Yeah.
But linebacker, I mean, I guess I can run Singleton out there, and obviously Davion Taylor needs to play even if he can't. So like I would say them two are on par with each other. Those positions, like unless Rodney was like back and feeling good, then I'll give the edge. I'm looking more at linebacker than safety, but both them 2 positions are almost in the same spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense? Like they're both in the same spot. Because Rodney's going to be back for this year, right? And then he's done. So either way, you're moving on. And linebacker, there's no end in sight, right? There's like no end in sight to it being fixed. At least people can tell me, oh well, I love Kevon Wallace. Okay, fine. At least you can like something back there. Right now, there's nothing you like. People can tell me like Singleton, but grow up like building your defense around them is what we're talking about.
Tom, you know this from the day we drafted him. I was the number 1 guy who crowned him, Kevon Wallace. But even me, he's my freaking son, can recognize that. You know what's a little bit of a concern? The fact that Marcus friggin' Epps got more playing time than him this year. It's kind of concerning.
And that's a concern for a lot of young players here.
Yes.
But you know what? I'll say this. When teams think they can win, and when the Eagles think that they can win, they don't give young players a lot of playing time.
That is true. They don't do it unless they have to. And when Kevon was on the field, he played well.
That's why I want a youth movement, right? That's why I'm so stuck on just a youth movement. I want to see young guys that I never seen before. Like I just want new. I'm new. I'm done. I'm done with the old tricks. Like I'll take the Coxes and the BGs and Lane for another year and Kelsey, and then I'm done. I got to continue to try to move on from some of these things. Yeah, what are we doing? We can't get to 100 likes over on YouTube. What is wrong with you guys? I love y'all. What is wrong with you guys? The button's right in front of your face. 119 people watching, 76 likes. Can we get guys just trying to smoke a cigarette right now and chill out? And I gotta get fired up because there's 76 likes and 119 people watching. What we gotta do? Get us to 100 likes. Let's go, baby. And there was a double dip. Give us the 4.65 subscribers over on YouTube. And if you're over on Facebook, do the same thing. Like, subscribe, follow the whole 9. We got shows coming up at 7:15. The Sports Hounds. All right, with Rob and Brad, and then Flight Zone coming up at 9:30. Jimmy and Evan, 9:30, right? I always get it. I
believe so. Yes.
Yeah, 9:30. Jimmy and Evan. So you got Jimmy and Evan. So heavy dose of sports talk coming up for you tonight on A2D Radio. So,
Bill checks in, says Ryer Tommy. Hi, Bill. How are you? When a guy gets cut, like let's say Ertz, do they have to go through the waiver wire? If yes, wouldn't that be the reason the team that was at the bottom gives us something good for him or a player they wanted? I believe so, Bill, because I would imagine so. Right, Tom? Like I would imagine there would be some kind of waiver wire type thing.
Compensation? Is that what Bill's asking about?
No, like kind of like a pecking order as far as like Zach Ertz. Like, say for example, it would start with the Jaguars. They would have the first chance to get him. No, because I think that's an in-season thing.
Yeah, it's an in-season thing, or like that's what sort of like the NBA does. Major League Baseball does waivers, but I think it's in-season waivers. I think John's right too. They don't go through. They don't go through waivers
because with the new league year, it would all be flipped. So no, Bill, it wouldn't be like that. Look at John. Tommy and Ryan are Embiid and Simmons of A2D Radio.
Well,
I'll be the guy who doesn't shoot then.
yeah, you better be. I mean,
I don't think I have a choice. I
Yeah.
don't think I have a choice on that.
nobody's ever questioning me taking it to the rack. So
Yeah, no, I feel like I would get ahead of that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll just be Ben. That way it wasn't a sign. I dated Kendall though. I'll take that. I'll be fine. I'll deal with that.
yeah, I'm not gonna have a problem with Joe's.
Oh yeah, no, you're doing fine. Oh my God, Don. He says, I guess Ralph is Mike Scott.
Yeah.
Norval Pell. He's Norvell Pell. What else did I see here? And I would say to the fan when I was asking like the pecking order of 1 through 3 on the defense, I'm proud of the fan for putting cornerback not number 3. Like I'm happy with that because I feel like people kind of forget about that second cornerback position and they just think, oh, well, we have Slay, we're fine. It's like, well, there's other cornerbacks that are needed, and we need that, especially because we know, hey, it's okay with having a two-headed monster per se, or even a serviceable kind of two-headed monster when you talk about the cornerbacks. And again, Darius Slay's not 27. You know what I'm saying? He's not somebody that you're going to have for another 4 years. Might have him for another 2 just because of the restructure thing.
On the roster.
Yeah, and I like everyone's hanging their head on Maddox. Who the hell is Vontae Maddox? I have no idea.
They're moving Maddox to the slot. They've already addressed that. So now you got to find an outside guy.
Exactly, Bill.
They could do that. They could do that just in a low-level free agent for sure.
Yeah, like the what's the name out there? Xavier Rhodes. Everyone's talked about because of the familiarity with the Colts. Like, I could see that. But again, like I look at the Xavier Rhodes thing for the secondary and I say, okay, well, that's kind of Band-Aid-ish. Played well. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a scrub or anything, but I would rather say, hey, you know what I would rather do? Find a kid in the draft that I could have 5 years control of or 4 years control of that I'm paying freaking pennies. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Then you got to hit that same guy in the draft. It all goes back to square one. You hit essentially, or had 2 corners that were serviceable that you let go. So I mean, you had 2 guys on this roster. One you just didn't wait long enough on Sydney, and I mean, I'm not a Rasul guy, but you had 2 corners on this roster that went elsewhere and played well. So I mean,
very well. Yes,
the ones you kept didn't. So, pretty obvious.
What was that, Tom?
Pretty obvious.
Yeah. Unless you had any other thing, Eagles, you want to switch over to Sixers? A couple things bounce off with you for the Sixers, especially.
Fucking March.
It's March, fam. It's March. We're not even at freaking March Madness yet. And it's freaking, we're talking, hey, we're going to see the Eagles in next February? No. Everyone calm down. So, fam, obviously, yes, that's right, Goldie, Sixers time. I want to get your opinions on this. So CBS Sports came out with an article on the 5th of March talking about the 5 potential targets for the Sixers, including Raptors Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, and others. And I think it was Kevin O'Connor. I was telling this to Tom earlier. Thing came out and there was a tweet saying, "Oh, well, today would be a good day for the Sixers to trade for Kyle Lowry." And it seems like this is now the second wave. It kind of died off for about a week, like the Kyle Lowry stuff. Now it seems like it's coming out again. So I want to pull up this list and I want to get the opinions from the fam.
Yes, Jacob, they're moving Maddox back to the slot.
Yes, justifiably so. And I just want to get your thoughts on this. So I'll put this up here. All right. So the first one would obviously be Kyle Lowry. And their potential trade would be the Sixers receive Kyle Lowry. So this would be a 3-team trade. The Raptors would receive Drummond from Cleveland. Tyrese Maxey would go in the deal. Our 2021 first rounder. 22 first rounder. the Cavs would receive Danny Green, Scott Ferguson, a second-round pick from Philly, and a 2023 second-round pick from Philly. So we're giving up Maxey, this year's first, next year's first, Danny Green, Mike Scott Ferguson, this year's second, and 2023 second. And all we're getting is Kyle Lowry.
I just let you continue there. That was a no for me from the second you said Kyle Lowry. So
I agree. I just think it's funny for the fan being like, oh, well, Kyle Lowry is a great player. He's not that great, especially on a 3-month contract that he's going to be on, getting him for half a season. Now, I think you're all in on this guy, Tom. This is your guy right here, Mr. Terrence Ross. And the projected trade they have is we would get Terrence Ross. Magic would receive Danny Green, 2021 second-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick. So it's Danny Green in 2 seconds.
Yeah, that doesn't change anything for me. That deal specifically, no. Like, that deal, I don't do. Because that deal is just stupid to me. Like, I like the idea of getting a guy who can score more, but the whole premise is to strengthen your team and get deeper.
Yep.
So, no, I wouldn't trade Danny Green for him. I'd figure out other ways to make that deal work. And it's not like a Crown Danny Green party. I'm not trading a starter for a starter. I'm looking for bench guys. So the only deals that are going to work for me are deals that involve bench players for bench players.
Then you go to PJ Tucker. His move, we would be getting Tucker. The Rockets would receive Scott Ferguson and a 2023 second.
I mean, the only reason I don't do that right now is because I think he can be bought out. I think he's going to get bought out at worst. So, I mean,
it's true.
I wouldn't, if I don't have to give up anything for him, I would try not to. But I mean, I would, I'm not against taking PJ Tucker, but I'm almost just seeing if I can, again, I just wait to get him. Like, you got to trade for, per se.
And is PJ Tucker that much of a world beater to where you would jump to get him instead of, to your point, Tom, chancing our luck at trying to get him just as a signee? You know what I'm saying? So I completely agree with that. Then you go, Brinkman said it, I put it on the screen. Fournier is better. Well, here you go, Brinks. Potential trade would be Fournier. We would get, the Magic would receive again. You'd be giving up a starter in Danny Green. You'd be giving up Furkan, a 2021 second, and a 2023 second. I don't like having to give up a starter. That's
now that's not even a starter. Now you're giving up a starter and a bench guy. So
yeah, those are 2 guys that play right now a lot of minutes.
I'm not saying Fournier wouldn't be an upgrade to those 2 because I think he is, but I don't know. That bench gets even tougher.
And this is the move I think you and I would both jump at. Austin Rivers, and we would give up Ferguson and a 2021 second.
Yeah, as long as Daddy's okay with coaching him again. I mean,
True.
I'll take anybody with a pulse that can score that I don't have to give up shit for. They can score enough. And that's really what it comes down to for me. Because I'll keep saying I believe in this starting 5, so I just need to be able to build a little deeper. And to me, there's guys that are deeper that you can get, and helping your bench, even if you have to give up your bench. You know what I mean? So if you have to give up your bench to help your bench, then that's what you do. Obviously, if it's all upgrades, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The other ones I can't do. I can't do Lowry for all that. No. I love Terrence Ross off my bench. I don't want Terrence Ross starting for me, right? I want Terrence Ross to be running with Shake. So I want, can I put Mike Scott in that deal? Who's an expiring contract? Can I make that work with putting other money together? I think I can. So I would go to Terrence Ross like, hey, I'll let you get out of this deal because you got 3 years left in it. You know what I mean? I'll work you out of this deal. And if you want to, even if you want a first, I'll give you a fucking first. I don't care about the pick. So give him a first. Give him a late round first because Terrence Ross is going to score more in the next 3 years than some late round first is for you. So, I'm fine with it. And because you're keeping Maxey and Thibault, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I would even be okay if you had to put Thibault in that deal to get Ross. Like, I would be like, all right, I got to do what I got to do. As long as I'm not giving up both Maxey and Thibault, I'm okay with it. But then you want to get the first from me. So if you want a Thibault or Maxey, then you don't get the first.
The only way I'm giving up Maxey and Thibault in the same deal is if I'm getting a superstar type talent in return with years of control. You know what I'm saying? Like there's and like somebody was saying like, oh, do you guys like Maxey? Do you guys like Thibault? Like anyone who's watched this for a handful amount of time, we know that we definitely don't crown Thibault. We think he's a really good piece as far as defense off the bench, and we know Maxey has a high potential. But you know, if the move's right, we're not going to call Maxey an untouchable. So, but the Kyle Lowry thing, especially knowing that he's going to be a free agent, he's 34 years old, and having to give up four picks, and then Danny Green, and then Maxey, and all the no, because it's like you're adding Lowry, but you're also getting weaker. So then you become more top heavy, and we saw, like we always talk about, Tom. That's what we saw the issues with a handful of times in the past.
Yeah, how can I get more scoring off my bench? It's as simple as that, because the starting five plays well together. They feed the ball to Joel Embiid, right? They run through Joel Embiid. Why do I want to mess any of that up? I don't want to mess any of that up. I want to be able to score more off my bench. And really, I'm just one guy away from being where I want to be. I mean, Oladipo and Aldridge. I mean, you're giving up the money. I don't know who you're giving up.
You're giving up everybody. Hold on, let me see. I'll pull up the thing. And I mean, how attractive is an Oladipo to you anyway, though, Tom? Because I think you and I are kind of the same thing, to where he makes us better, but I would say, just given the money on how much we would have to give up, I don't know if he makes us that much better. And also, I feel like Oladipo is a little bit overrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, he only really had that one great year.
Yeah,
he doesn't change the landscape of this team for me.
No, I mean, I'm just not looking.
You're not looking for the splash.
No, we had the splash.
Yeah, we have an MVP and a defensive player of the year, and arguably one of the coaches of the year, and then really good role players. I mean, I say role player. I mean, Tobias he's an all-star caliber player. We also need to replace Danny Green. He looks like he's showing his age. Listen, I don't love Danny Green, but he fits a role, and he's much better than having a JJ Redick here. So he's definitely not perfect, but I think having him, he brings more positives than negatives.
I mean, listen, if they trade Danny Green, they trade Danny Green, right? I mean, we're all fine there, depending on what it is, too. And if you trade him, okay, are you figuring out a way to get not only filling that starter role, but then being able to figure out how to get a bench too? So I think that's where it comes down to. Can you get both? Donovan, look like the Sixers are a good team, but nobody in the East is stopping the Nets. I disagree with that. I appreciate the donation, brother, but I disagree that nobody's stopping the Nets.
Donovan, come back to us when we know what the final Sixers roster is. They're going to be trouble. I mean, I've had the Nets finishing number one in the East this entire time, and that's not changing. But I want to see what Darryl has up his sleeve to kind of counteract this. Because like he was on some kind of either a show or a podcast this weekend, and you were asking him about, Brooklyn becoming a super team, and he was saying, hey, it's annoying. So is he annoyed enough to go and make another kind of counter offer type thing to counteract this? But again, I will say it again, you see, the reports that, Woj put out yesterday that they view Blake Griffin as a 4/5 option. So he's going to play a little bit of center on small ball. There's still nobody on that team that stops Joel Embiid. Like, I don't know who stops the combined unit of Harden, Durant, and Irving as far as scoring. So I'll give you that. It's going to be a chore to kind of score with them, but there's not one person you can tell me on that roster that's stopping Embiid. So until they do that, they already have my attention, but I'm not terrified of them.
I just think there's like ways you can compete without having to splash it. I know everybody's into the splash game, and that's fine. Levine's of the world and everything like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like you can get there without having to do that. There's ways you can get your bench better. There's ways you can get deeper and get more scoring to be able to do the things you want to do. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they go top heavy again, if they're willing to make one of these splash moves, or if they're going to go on the lighter side of it, or if they do nothing.
And to answer the question, I forget who mentions the combined unit of Aldridge and Oladipo. You're bringing in a total of $45 million. So you're going to have to come up with enough money to fill $45 million. I mean, you're not putting in Tobias.
No.
You're not putting in Simmons or Joel. So the next amount of money would be Danny Green. He only makes 15.3. And you've got Seth at 7, Scott at 5, Ferguson. Like, you're trading away like 9 players just to match the money.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
No.
Not going to work. And I understand the Nets are good, and I think we're good.
Very good. Yes.
That's why you didn't want Embiid and Simmons having to miss time that wasn't like injury related in a way.
Yeah, and it looks like they're not going to have to if everything continues on this path. And I'll give you guys kind of like the next 5 games. I'll ask you if both of them are playing, I'll ask you what the record will be coming out of it. Let me see. Sixers schedule, because I know on paper, at least, it looks, especially like we talked about at the Open, Tom, that like they have 7 games in 10 games or something, or 7 games in 10 days at some point. So the schedule is definitely going to get really tough. Starting in a few here, but you come back on Thursday and you've got at the Bulls, at the Wizards, and then you've got home against the Spurs, home against the Knicks, and then home against the Bucks. What would you say the record would be coming out of those 5 games?
I mean, they should be able to go 4-1, but Chicago and Washington are like tricky games.
And they're both that's a back-to-back too. They go Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
And they're on the road.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, you almost want to figure out, can you win back-to-backs there somehow against 2 teams that you're better than? So you got to hope there, but they'll probably cough one of them games up knowing the NBA.
Mm-hmm. So
then can you go take care of your business at home? Right? Can you go 1-1 on that little back-to-back gig? I know you should beat both of them, and then you make up for it by sweeping all 3 of them at home. Spurs, Knicks, Bucks, bang, bang, bang. That's what you got to do. 'Cause, I mean, that's what really good teams do. They might split on the road, but they're coming home and they're, no matter who they're playing. And there's no reason to say that we shouldn't beat anybody at home. We've beaten the Lakers at home, we've beaten the Jazz at home, and we've beaten other good basketball teams at home. So. We're about a 500 team on the road. We take care of business at home. So, to be that number 1 team in the East, you have to continue that home dominance, especially the fact that people are coming back into the building now. You're going to have people in the building now, right? So, I'm curious to see that.
That's true, Don. It does depend on who the barber is. Bill says, coming from a Celtics fan, I believe if you keep the guys you have, trade away picks for a solid mid-level 15 to 20 point bench guy, that they could very well easily beat the Nets because of Embiid. Spot on, Bill.
I don't know. I can get Terrence Ross for some bench pieces, and have Shake and Terrence off my bench and just start there, and I can get a buyout 4 if I need them if Mike Scott can't play it. Right? I mean, that's just how I gotta look at it. That's truly how I gotta look at it. Because anything else puts me in a tough spot. Like, does Levine all alone beat the Nets? I mean, like I said, like I've talked a lot of shit on Levine, and that's fine. Like,
he changed that. If we can get him without having to give up, like we would have to give up Danny, but whatever.
Obviously, yeah.
But like, if we can get him without having to give up, obviously the big 3. And, 4 players on the bench, say it's Danny Green, say Thibault, and like a ton of picks, that changes everything.
You probably have to give him Maxey too.
I would, and I know you probably won't agree with this, Tom. I would do that just because Levine, you get him for 3 years and he's like 27. It's not a thing where I'm getting Kyle Lowry, you get him for 6 months and he's 34. And he can play off ball. He won't affect Simmons. He doesn't have to be a volume guy, but he can. You can win on nights. You can win with Levine and Simmons on nights where you don't have Joel.
Yeah, but the only problem is, your bench takes a hit, maybe like not as much as people think it does, but it takes a little hit. Defensively, you take a hit defensively in your starting lineup because Seth and Levine aren't good defenders. You know what I mean? Seth's at least willing, but he's not a good defender. Levine's not a good defender. Now, on a good team, does he? I don't know. On a good team, does he get more palmsy? That's a question. I'll never say is there the shots to go around for guys because I'm not that kind of guy to say that, but like. Literally, is there the shots to go around for guys? Like, is Zach Levine the same player without the volume? I don't know that. Like, I don't know that. Can he come in and only attempt 12 shots a game and be okay with that? I don't know. I don't know. I do know what's working right now. You understand? Like, that's my biggest gripe for the star player because are they okay with that?
Not to change subject, but we do have breaking news. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott have struck a deal. The money's not out yet, but Adam Schefter 2 minutes ago, the deal has been agreed upon. So we're going to know in the next couple minutes what this money is. Did he get Mahomes money?
Well, listen. Regardless, okay? Regardless of what he got, now the pressure to be the guy is different than it was before, right? So now when you're going to get the kind of money he's going to get, because he's going to get paid, okay? So I don't care if it's close to Mahomes around, you know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of money, all right? That's all we got to know. Mm-hmm. So are you that guy? Because we're going to all sit here and say Mahomes and other guys are definitely worth that kind of money because they change you, right? Does he change them? I mean, he makes them better for sure. He's tough. I like Dak. I don't hate him as much as I used to. But like a lot comes with that now. You've seen it here, right? A lot comes with it. And can you put the roster together to also help him too? Because you're paying this kind of money, you're paying Rodgers-esque money, right? Carrier. Got to carry. That offense got to be electric, right? Always in games.
And also you're allotting a lot of money to Dak when you have a lot of holes to fill too. Like we can talk about all the weapons they have on offense, but they have an entire defensive side that they have to rebuild.
Yeah, well, not as bad as us, but they definitely have to rebuild it. For sure. I mean, their secondary outside of I think Diggs, they got holes. Not saying $45 million a year. Wow.
Is that real, Jesse, or is that like a prediction? I'm not seeing
multi-year deal, so it's not even a right. So Jeff Warner, saying,
"Oh no, he's there for a long time."
Well, you think it's a long-term deal?
I would imagine so. If they've come to
see, I think it's probably like a 3-er. I can see a 3-piece. I can see a 3. Honestly, I can see a 3. I wouldn't be surprised because it gets him out of the franchise tag, right? And then he's getting guaranteed money. So 3-4. I would say 3-4 is my guess.
And also, if he plays well, it gives him another opportunity to hit the market again, to get paid.
32-ish, right? 32, we hit the market, 33 if you got a 4-year, right?
I believe so, yeah, because I think he's, 28, 27 right now?
Yeah, he's around Carson's age. So, so you hit the market again and get paid. I could see it. I think it worked well for both parties. You know, if it's 3-4 years, I think it's right where I am, where it probably should be. Don saying he can see a 5-year deal. I mean, I think the Cowboys have tried to hold control over this, which makes me think it's going to be a more suited deal for them. But I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what to expect with this. You know what I
Bryce saying Dak 5 years, 45. He's guessing 5 years, 45.
You think you got 5 years there? Maybe the 5th year is an option year.
So how much is that total? 545, 225? 45 times 5. 225, yeah.
Yeah, but what's the guaranteed?
True. Oh, here you go. Dak Prescott, 4-year, $160 million deal, including a record $126 million guaranteed.
What? How much of that is guaranteed money?
126. Oh.
I mean, I was spot on 4 years with that.
Yes, you were.
Years, right? I mean, that just makes sense, right? He gets it at 32. Now, 32 years old. He's made 120. We're not talking about the rookie money, the incentives, all that shit. We're talking about $126 million guaranteed. Guaranteed. Usually it's half the deal. Usually you come in, but you know why? You know why? Because that franchise tag money of $45 million or whatever it was this year, if they franchise them again, right? Because they can franchise them up to 3 times, right?
Yes. Yes.
So last year's is done with. Now you're talking about 2 more years they would have to give them. If they franchise them, they would have to give them $80 million probably guaranteed. Okay? What does it say?
Okay.
Right? Think around that right there. $40 million. What does it say? 40. $40 million. They would have to guarantee him $80 million to franchise in the next 2 years. Make sense? So they almost cut their balls off by doing it. They must cut their balls off because now he goes to the table and says, "Well, just franchise me the next 2 years then." And they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because then they're getting it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop, and then they're paying that kind of money up against their cap 2 years for a quarterback franchise, right? Think about it. So it's almost like he almost now holds the keys. And listen, what an amazing deal for Dak Prescott. Good for you, Dak Prescott.
I've always liked him as a person, so I'm happy for him as a person.
$126 million. You might as well get NBA money. It's like NBA money, the amount of money guaranteed to him. And then you get 32 in the way quarterbacks are playing nowadays, right? I mean, he can get another 3-year deal somewhere where somebody will take him to he's 35, hypothetically, and probably get, at that time when the money's even higher, he'll probably get another $30 million a year. Oh, my goodness. I don't even care about the yearly rate of it at Big Eagle. I mean, you do towards the team salary cap, etc., right? But, like, in terms of dead money, well, they're fucked because they guaranteed almost a whole game contract. So I guarantee year 4 is almost like a get out of jail free card for them. I would assume. Yeah, I would assume that's their get out of jail free card, almost like an option year for them. But I mean, good deal for Dak.
Talk about the guarantee money that they have tied up on the offensive side of the ball for just a handful of players. They're going to score a lot of points, but they're not stopping anybody for a little bit.
What's I need to know Zeke's money real quick. I need to know. When they get out of that deal.
Oh, let's see.
Well, they can't tag him anyway. Jake.
A no trade. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be a tag.
But the no trade includes no trade. But you know how that works at this point. Both teams can come and say, "All right, you go with the dealt? Yeah, I'm good." Wow. Oh, Jesse, it smokes them. It smokes them. The guaranteed money is donezo. 126 out of $160 million guaranteed. Oh, my goodness.
So the Zeke Elliott contract was a 6-year, $90 million deal. They are tied up with him until 2026. 2026. There's a potential out in 2023.
They'll be running in a wheelchair.
Yeah. His base salary in 2021 is 9.6. The cap, I'll just read you cap hits. That's easy. The cap hit in 2021 is 13.7, then goes up to 16.5, then goes to 15, 12.6, 15.4, 16.6.
All right. There's out years. Years. 12. Yeah, I mean, there's out years in there.
But they're tied to him for another 2.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what's it? 12 and 17? 13 and 17 was it the first 2?
The cap hit you're talking about, Tom? 13.7 and 16.5.
Okay, what's the dead? I need dead money.
24.5 and 10.8.
10.8 out.
Yeah, so they can get out after this year.
Now, what's after that? Because they say, okay, well, hold on, we're not going to take that 10.8. What's after that?
6-7, dead cap, and 2-6.
That deal does nothing for them, guys. Everybody. Now, guaranteed money still gets paid franchise-wise, obviously, but it doesn't affect your salary cap.
No, I'm going to look at Amari because Amari obviously is the other big splash.
Yeah, he just signed. But that Zeke deal isn't as bad as people think it is.
No.
That cap's nothing. Now, the salary cap is a hit to a few years, but some years aren't bad, like $12 million in 3 years from now. Like, if he can play a little bit, it's not too bad, right? If he can play still, but, you can get out of that like 2.
Oh, here you go. Thank you, Jalen. That's clutch. Thank you, sir. Dak, 40 mil. Lawrence, 20 mil. Cooper, 20 mil. Zeke, 12 to 16. 3 offensive linemen making 15 plus. Yes. That's what I'm saying. The next couple years, they have a window. They got to friggin' cash in.
Don asked the first thing I would buy would be just a oceanfront property. You know what I mean? I mean, some guys will go for the cars and stuff. I'll be on a beach somewhere. That's my first big purchase if I signed a $126 million deal. Go get a little $10 million mansion. And that'll hold its value. Real estate holds its value. So I'm not the least bit worried about getting my value back for it. But
I would do a double dipper. I mean, because 126. I mean, I can.
Well, the first thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like some people buy a car, other things. No, my first one was I don't even care about the cars. People are driving me places.
Tom, see, we're the same person. Thank you. I was gonna say I'm making that. And you expect me to drive? Yeah, no, I'm getting in the back. I'm gonna have a freaking bed in the back seat. I'm just sitting. I'm back here. You know what I'm saying?
I'll have a hyperbaric in there.
Yeah, no.
I'm laying down in the back of the SUV in a hyperbaric chamber.
I've got friggin' slippers for beyond slippers. I'm not driving steering wheel. Come on now, stop. But no, my first purchase, I will see your oceanfront property and I will raise you a golf course property. It's it's on brand for me.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine because you're going to use it just like I would use the beach.
Yes.
So I mean, to each their own.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, you guys are going to keep writing it in there. I love it. Fly Eagles fly. Temple U. 4 years, $126 million guaranteed.
Amari, real quick. He signed a 5-year, $100 million. Jesus. I mean, we talk about quarterback factory here. They're the money factory down in Dallas. This year he's getting paid base salary at $20 million. His cap hit is $22 million. Dead cap 28. But then going forward, so he's tied up. Or I should say he's under contract until 2024. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2025.
It's actually not bad, though.
No, it's not as bad as I thought.
No, for a number one wide receiver, you have CD tied up because of where the pick was. So you have that 1-2 punch there for a minute. I mean, listen, they're going for it. It's as simple as that. Good for them. I mean,
respect to them. Yeah, respect.
Fuck Cowboys, but they make me nervous. I know people want to tell me that it's the other teams. Like, if you're trying to win the next 3-4 years, I got a feeling that's the team you got to go for because I know everyone's going to tell me about their defense. I think they're going to find defensive players, right? They'll probably spend their pick this year on a defensive player, right? Like they're going to
continue to entertain. I'm telling you,
they're going to continue to address it, guys. But the fact that the matter is they're going to score, all right, and they're going to light some people up because Dak's the best quarterback in this division. Right, they have the best offense in this division. Washington has a good defense, but like outside of their front, like outside of Washington's front, which is extremely important,
yes,
they're not that great. So they're crowning the Washington football team. And you see that catch? And by the way, okay, I got you. I love their front, right? As a football fan, loaded, but now you're crowning me on that whole back end that'd be really good.
Their secondary is a huge question mark.
Yeah, don't crown me there. The Giants have a good defense, we think, right? Tough defense, right? That offense, even with Saquon coming back, what are they? It's a bunch of underachievers. It's Evan Ingram underachiever, Daniel Jones underachiever, an offensive line that is better but not where it needs to be. So to me, I hate to say this, and my Eagles family, it kills me. Right now, Dallas is the team to beat. Right now, I don't care about Washington and the Giants. Right, if I'm a Cowboys fan, because I think I have it right. I have this division's mine to lose. If Dak Prescott's healthy, they're going to win this division, probably.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, as an Eagles fan, how do you figure out in 2022, If not 2021, if you catch lightning about it, good for you. But in 2022, okay, how do you go beat them?
Yes.
That's to me. Now you got to figure out how to beat your whole division. I get it. We don't know what Washington's quarterback situation is going to be. They could jump them. We don't know what they're going to go do. If they go make a little bit of a splash, maybe they're the team to beat moving forward.
If they get Deshaun, then we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like if now we really have a problem if you're looking at both of them. But to me, to your point, Tom, we know that we're not doing this because we love the Dallas Cowboys. Screw them. So we're saying this because we're being realistic and we're not being fanboys. But we know the Dallas Cowboys have had the formula to really go out and win big at the last handful of years, but they haven't been able to put all the pieces together. So they have it. They have that formula. They have the structure for it. So as much as we talked about,
does the owner get his hands too much involved? Right? I mean that's the question marks when you talk about the Cowboys and will be right. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl contender. I'm just saying that they're the team that looks like they're the team to beat in this division in the next 2 years. We'll say.
But I will say this. As much as we talked about with the Eagles getting Pitts and all these players in the draft, how it doesn't make them playoff contenders just because of all of the question marks we have on the roster aside from the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If Dallas, and who knows, I might be putting too much stock into first year players, but again, we really like these players. If they come out of this draft with Surtain, Asante Samuel, and a couple other defensive players to go along with what they already have.
Yeah, or they go up front on the defense side of the football or whatever. I mean, they've had underachievers, but guess what? I mean, to me, they're in better shape than we are by a long shot. They got their quarterback. We're going to find out if we have our quarterback. That's what this year tells us. So we're going to find out. Maybe, guess what? Maybe we're having this conversation next year and saying we're the team to beat because of what we saw in 2021, right? Yeah. So everybody, I'm just saying I don't think we're winning shit in the division in 2021, and I'm okay with it. I hate it, but I'm okay with it because I think in 2022 we can get to where we want to. Listen, everybody that's got us over 100 likes, can't thank you enough. Listen, it's the road to 5K on YouTube. It's small steps on YouTube. I mean, we've been doing it on YouTube for a long time. If you go over to our Facebook, we're on the road to 100K. So it just depends on where you're on the road with us to. On Instagram, we're on the road to, I would say, 50K since we're at 20. So we're on roads. Twitter, we're on the road to 5K. We'll say once we get to 3, whenever that happens. I don't know why, but if you want to follow us, go follow us on all our social platforms. Just type in A2D Radio, and you can find us everywhere, anywhere, and everywhere you get your podcast. We got the Sports Hounds coming up 7:15 here on A2D Radio, followed by the Flight Zone. Hounds' question for tonight. Let me read this out to you guys real quick, and then we'll finish.
I think they're doing a little NL East preview tonight.
They are.
A little filled up.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Disagree.
The Philadelphia Phillies will win the NL East. Agree or disagree? That would be as much as my homerism would love to jump in here. I mean, the Braves got to almost cough this division away to me. That's how good they are. I'm going to disagree, but it was at a playoff team. I may have been able to agree with it. So that one's a little aggressive, but that's great. That's great. I love it. Let's see if one of them two decide to say agree. I don't think either one are. I mean, I know Brad isn't. Now, would Rob say agree? I don't know. I would love to hear you, baby, if you are tonight.
I know Rob's with us, so Rob, I don't want you to spoil it for us because I want the fam to tune in to find out your answer. But I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, Brinks, but I think you're very high on the Braves and Mets, like we all are.
I would think
so. I would hope he
our signing bonus and $75 million in year one, buying everyone a house. Yeah. That's houses around. Brinks just says tune in. Look at the teaser.
I love that, Brinks.
Teaser talk. Don't give it away, baby. I like your style. I gave it away. I'd be like, yeah, fuck you. I agree. Yeah. YouTube does. No, YouTube has more followers than Twitter. But
and also, Don, not to say that we didn't pay attention to YouTube in the past, but we've really been the last, I would say, since quarantine, we've really been like, okay, you know what I'm saying? We've been focusing on some of the other platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like Tom said, you could tell by our followers where we've had the main focus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, brother. We both appreciate it.
Yeah, your wife doesn't, but we do. Well, we're a great place to get away from your spouses. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for, too.
Yes. That's why we're here. And the one thing I'll add really quick, Tom, to your point with the Washington football team, almost slipped there too. Tom. Me and you both. We both recovered really, really well there. And the Giants. Nobody's crowning either of those teams. But the best thing we could say about both of those teams that we don't have, as in Philadelphia, they have directions. They have cores. They have identity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have an identity with the Giants to where, okay, you have a lot of skill position players, and it's like, okay, let's just figure out who Daniel Jones is type thing and build along this defense. The Washington football team, it's okay, we got to figure out who the quarterback is, and we have to protect them. But I would say this for the Giants, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, for a long, not just on this show, but if I'm the Giants, I don't even care if this is not even popular. If I'm the Giants, I'm looking to trade Saquon Barkley immediately. Trade him now. You know how much value you can get for Saquon Barkley, Tom? Because I mean, like you said, Tom, when they come back, we'll see what Saquon is. He hasn't been healthy in 2 years.
I would have never drafted him there. I mean, that's me. It's not a shot at Saquon and his talent. Just like I wouldn't have drafted Zeke. I mean, that's just me. I don't have to go back and look on who I would have drafted instead of them guys, but I would have tried to avoid it, just like I wouldn't have drafted Daniel Jones. So I mean, these guys make it tough on themselves. They truly do. These GMs all around just make it tough on themselves. Now Saquon's not a bad pick. It's just like, dude, just know the value of the running back position. Know the shelf life. I know he's a special talent. Then trade back a couple. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Trade back a couple of that.
Exactly. Saquon Barkley, his best year, he was an all-world talent, but they won 5 games. So even as great as he was, it didn't translate to anything.
Yeah, Clinton, I don't know if Hurts haters. I know there's people that don't believe he's good, and that's different than being a hater. And I think people are over the Carson thing, brother. I mean, I was a big Carson supporter, and the day he got traded after that, after we talked about it and got mad about whatever we thought about the organization's screw-ups here, right? At the end of the day, no ex-girlfriends here, babe. You're gone. You're now an Indianapolis Colt, and I don't give a fuck about the Colts or you. So, not you, Clinton, Carson. So, I become Team Jalen Hurts. Like, let me see you play. I'm praying you can. Praying you can. That's all I can say about it. Praying you can.
And to your point, Tom, it took us an hour and 51 minutes to even mention Carson's name. It's the first time his name was even brought up.
Yeah, we don't bring him up anymore.
So if anyone says, hey, you guys obsess over Wentz, it took us 2 hours to even bring up his name.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. 101. All right, fam. We're going to have to wrap it up. Let the Sports Sounds go live here at 7:15. Bailey, we appreciate it. Everybody out there.
Bailey.
Appreciate it. We appreciate you guys getting us over 100 likes. Continue to tell your freaking friends. Follow over on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, everywhere you get your podcasts, anywhere. We're anywhere, everywhere. Give us a like, give us a follow, even if you don't use them platforms too often. Go fucking over there for a minute. Give us a little follow, right? Help us out. What's Don got? 1 more hour.
He's joking, saying he wants us to go another hour.
Yeah, good. Freaking 5 hours sleep a night right now. You go another hour.
We'll be back on Wednesday, Don. But again, you've got 2 more shows coming up. And to Tom's point with all the other socials, we've gotten so many messages like, oh my God, I saw you guys on YouTube. I didn't realize you guys posted memes. There's a lot more to A2D Radio than you think. You know what I'm saying? If you find us on YouTube, we're not just shows. If you find us on Facebook, we're not just memes. Yeah, and we're live on Facebook and we're live on them other platforms too. So, yep. I'm a fun guy. Yeah. Screw you and whoever your team is. Family, we love you. We were brought to you by Sunrise Counseling Sunrise Detox and the Counseling Center. Many of us in our family deal with mental health and addiction issues. We're happy to support the Counseling Center and Sunrise Detox. If you need help, please call 856-651-8117. Tell my boy Rob, that Tom sent you, and listen, he'll get you taken care of if you need any help. And we're also brought to you by bodycheckwellness.com. You can use promo code A2D for 20% off. For Tom Arnone, Ryan Brodo, all you guys that chimed in, we appreciate every one of you. Keep hitting that like, keep hitting that subscribe. Stay tuned. Sports Town 7:15, followed by Flight Zone at 9:30. Let me tell you what Flight Zone's poll is while we're here real quick. Oh, yeah. And we got to roll. Where are you, Jimmy? Gotcha. Hold on. Pull it up. There should be a little more optimism for the Eagles with Howie already adjusting veteran contracts. Disagree.
Disagree. Jimmy Ab, I disagree. But more Eagles talk later on. And Sports Hounds coming up here. 2 minutes. We out.